Hello everyone, and welcome back to episode 11 of the Advent Calendar series. And today we're going to be using something really cool. If you're wondering, I turned off the round so this way I didn't start it. We're going to be creating a bow and arrow system. So over here I have a bow my friend graciously made, but forgot to texture, so I had to texture it to my best abilities. And what I want is to be able to fire this bow and an arrow firing right at our target. And so usually whenever I'm learning these new concepts, um, I take it that some of you guys are pretty young, and usually whenever I'm learning these concepts, I like it whenever someone explains the mathematical purpose behind it. That's why we're going to be going and learning about logarithms, which is how this is working. So here we are, tablet time. So basically all logarithms are is they go under log b of x. Let's do z. And all this basically means is how many times can I multiply b to get z? And let's practice with this. So let's say we have log 2 of 4. All we need to figure out, sorry, not how many times do I need to multiply b to get z, how many times do I need to multiply b to get x? That's, yes, let's say we have log 2 of 4. So we can rewrite this to 2x is equal to 2 power x equals 4. And what we know is we know that 2 times 2 is equal to 4, right? So we can do 2 power 2 is equal to 4, which means the answer to this one is 4. Understood? Now, sometimes whenever we have regular logs, they usually just go under like this, we don't have a base. Now we actually do have a base and it acts as 10. So if we have log 10 100, we're going to get 2. Yeah, 2. What my brain freezing? Yeah, so this is pretty much a nutshell of how logarithms work. So, going back into the game, I already have my bow right here. We're going to create a local script, a server script, and a mope event. I'm going to call my local script. Actually, get my wireless keyboard so I can be better. Sorry, I was working in another room the other day and now I have to relocate all my stuff to a different room to do this. So let's call our local script something like bow script. We'll call our actually we'll call it bow server. So bow server. I'm gonna call our local script bow client, bow client, and we will be calling our remote event over here fire arrow. All right, so what we need to do now is we're gonna go inside of our first gonna delete all these extra scripts that I have loaded up since I don't want them. We're gonna start on our client script first. So all we need is um our tool, script parent, and we're also probably gonna need players in the future. So local players equal to game get service players. Yeah. So what we're gonna be doing is we're gonna be using our logarithm, which is a logarithm graph to demonstrate this. Um, if I was you and wanted to know how a logarithm graph looks like, use Desmos, one of my favorite calculator tools. So, yeah. And because we got players, we should probably get our player, which is gonna be players.local player. And I'm gonna need our mouse, which we're gonna set empty, which I'll tell you why later. Now we're gonna create our max charge time. In Lua, we usually like to keep our two. Perfect. We usually like to keep our constants uppercase for when someone is reading it. And yeah, so 2 seconds seems like a pretty good max charge time. So what I mean by max charge time is a player will be able to hold down on their mouse to click. And because you have a max charge time, you should also have a change start time to show the start of the time, which we'll just set to nothing for now. And starting off, you will get our tool.equipped connect function. This is just going to say if the tool is equipped, if the player equips the tool and tool goes from the backpack to the character. We know this stuff. And then all we need for this is M right there. Let's get our mouse, we get it, and we're just gonna set our mouse to M. You'll see why we do this in a little bit. It's actually because this thing right here counts as a global variable, and the mouse that you get from here is only local scope native to this tool. So to make sure that if we have another function, which we will in a little bit, to make sure that our other function can use this local scope tool, we're gonna have to set it to a global scope. Local and global scope, it's something that every language has. Which, speaking of, reminds me we should also get our fire event. I don't know why I forgot about that. To wait for child, fire arrow, and now what we're gonna do is we're going to do mouse dot button one down. If someone left clicks, function change start time is going to be equal to tick. So that basically just means the amount of time that it took for someone to hold down, which will be helping us with our little function right here. I mean, sorry, it's like a this tick is the amount of ticks that the game has run, which will help us for trying to figure out. Actually, if I hover over tick, yeah, returns the number of time in seconds since the Unix epoch for this device's time. So pretty much the amount of seconds since I think January 1st, 1970, which is very specific. But if you're wondering why, I would recommend researching about Unix epoch. Um, which will so basically this is just starting a timer in seconds, and we're gonna set our max charge time to 2. So mouse dot button one up connect function. If someone lifts their mouse up, we're going to see if there is change. Whoa, sorry. There is change start time. Sorry, return end. We're gonna first see if they have clicked the change start time, because let me tell you, sometimes someone could hold it down, press one, and lift it off, which will error our code to make sure that our code is an error. We will have it like this because there won't be a change start time. So we're multiplying the zero or finding the time of nothing, which makes no sense, which is why we don't want to deal with that. So we're just gonna drop it, not care about it. Punish the player if you want, but I don't think the player will listen. So we're gonna set our charge time to be the current time. So the time and what this pretty much means is this is the time since the time the player's been holding the mouse for. Yeah. And we're gonna set this to nil so that we won't have to so that we can restart the timer when he holds out again. So we're gonna need two variables, origin, pause, and direction, which we will get in a function called get shot get shoot data, which we'll do that for because we're probably going to want to make this a little bit easier. Yeah. So local tool, sorry, what am I doing? So if you're wondering this time, just to make it easier, I have the script on my phone, which is why I can read it and stuff. So if not player dot character, then return end. Now we're just making sure that the player was properly initialized because if it wasn't initialized, we're gonna have a lot of errors because we're dealing with a lot of complex math. Yeah, and we're gonna need to get our player's humanoid root part, which will equal to that. If not HRP, then return end, and we're gonna get our origin pause, which will be slightly in front of the chest because we want a cool, which we want. What am I saying? We want it to be slightly in front of the chest so that it will not actually hit the chest. So, because we might accidentally damage ourselves, which we don't want to do, because that makes no sense. Yeah. HR. So we're gonna get our cumulative front position plus vector 3 dot new 0 comma 1.5 comma 0. Boom. Now we're gonna go on over to our mouse position, which now we'll be able to use our mouse because we're setting it to this. Because yeah, global scope, local scope, you know the deal. Um, Now we're gonna grab the direction of the mouse, which is gonna be equal to the mouse position minus the origin position. So we'll be able to figure out if the let's say the dummy is my character. If the dummy is right here, my camera's facing like this, and my mouse is right here, we will use this to calculate a um what was it? Calculate a direction that the mouse is gonna go. Physics. Wonder who's taking AP Physics. Yeah. Yeah, cool. Physics. If the direction's magnitude, which if you remember from our weapons video, you probably remember what that is. It's pretty small, then that means if the player is in first person, we're gonna just set our direction to our hrp.cframe.look vector. So it will just, if it's in first person, we don't want, it will be difficult to calculate it, so we're just gonna set it to the way that he's looking like this. Um, Else, if he is in third person, then the direction will be equal to the direction.unit, which is the image look at. And this is going to return our origin pause and our direction. Now we have that data over here, which will should quickly check to see if everything's run correctly. So if not origin pause or not direction, then return since we don't want to deal with it. And now we're going to send all this data that we collected over to the server, like the charge time, the origin position, and the direction. Take all that data in our server to our real selves. Ha ha ha. So let's get some stuff working. So local tool is going to be equal to script.parent. Local fire event is going to be equal to script.fire arrow. Tool dot boom. And we're gonna grab some consts. I think we can just grab it from here if I remembered. Yeah. So, sorry, I'm just copying some stuff. I only have some of them. So our max charge time, which was obviously equal to 2, our minimum speed of the arrow will be equal to 80. Our maximum speed will be equal to 240. Our minimum damage that we can deal will be equal to 10, and our maximum damage will be equal to 40. So pretty much however longer the player waits to build up the arrow, the damage will change. And the lifetime of the arrow will be equal to 5. Um, Now time to do even more math. Let's go. So, um, we should get our fire event on server, sorry, on server event and function. We're going to steal our player, our charge time, origin pause, our direction. And now we have hackers who like to mess up the system. So we're going to quickly check if the type is not equal to vector 3 or type of direction is not equal to vector 3. They're trying to mess it up, then we're just going to return. So in fact, let's kick the player. Exploiting detected. Cool. So that hackers, if they try to run that malicious code, it'll just be like, oop, that's a hacker. Kick. We want to ban them just in case it was just one of our faults. Yeah, that would have been bad. Local character would have been equal, is going to be equal to our character. And if you do not have a character, if our character hasn't been fully initialized yet, then yep, we're going to return, get rid of that event. We don't need to deal with it. Now we're going to need our normalized charge, which is, sorry, I have notes somewhere on my phone, trying to get it. Let's see. It's pretty much how long you hold the mouse, and we're gonna convert it into a binary. So 0 for no charge and 1 for full charge. So this will be, and it'll be a number between 0 and 1. Sorry, not binary. Why did I get binary? This video's been such horrible at explaining. This will let us scale things because we're gonna technically have a percentage. So we can just multiply it by our 0 and 1, by the number between 0 and 1. Um, So to get that, we're going to create a function called get normalized charge, which will get our charge time. Sorry, this video is a little bit more complex than normal. I wanted to a bow system, so it's yeah. Sorry, me bad. Charge time is going to be equal to math.clam charge time, comma 0, comma max speed, which returns a number between minimum and max. So basically, this will just make sure that the number is in between 0 and max, and yeah. Um, what's my did I set charge time? Yes, I did, I think. Yeah, local num will be equal to math.log. Yeah, look, we're using our logarithms now. So we're creating our graph based on our charge time and our destination equals to math.log 1 plus max charge time. So this is actually a really cool formula that we use in logarithms called change of base formula, where if you were to do return num divided by 10, what this does is we actually can't use a specific base for this, right? Um Lua doesn't support that. So what this is doing is num is actually our c, if you remember from our thing, log base b c is equal to z. I think that's what I wrote. If I didn't write that, then sorry, my bad. Uh, that is going to be equal to num is going to be equal to our c, and our den is going to be our base. And what we're doing is this little function right here calculates that log. So yeah, everything's sort of gluing together now, right? It's really cool how math and coding can be intertwined to create something really awesome. That's why I like coding. I sound such bad. My bad, guys. So we're gonna need to calculate our speed, which I don't like what it's recommending. We're gonna do min speed is plus our max speed and minus our min speed multiplied by our get by our normalized charge. Sorry, I need to make it. You gotta calculate it. Cat normal, not cat mean table. Cat normalized charge and our charge time normalized and our damage is gonna be equal to our min. Same thing as this, except replace speed but with damage. Max damage minus min damage times our normalized. So this is actually a decimal value that we times by normalized. Our origin frame will be equal to our cframe dot new origin pause, our origin pause, and we're gonna look at the origin pause plus our direction. So it'll sort of be a look at frame. It'll be a frame that looks at the direction. Yeah. And then we're gonna now create our arrow, which will be a second what? Which will be a second function. And this will we first need to create an arrow. And actually, I will let you guys customize your arrow that you want it to be. Just sort of make it similar to the arrow that I have pre-made. Which reminds me, I completely forgot the arguments for this. So, we were going to create our arrow using our origin C frame, our direction, and our speed, our damage, and finally our character. Quite a lot of stuff. My voice is getting hoarse. Yeah, that's how it is if you're a commentary YouTuber. So we're gonna take all of that stuff, our origin C frame, our direction, our speed, our damage, and our shooter character. And yes, this is pretty much how I made my arrow, the way that I liked it. I did some experimenting on my own time. And now we want to make the arrow face the direction where we're shooting. So we're going to set the arrow.cframe, cframe.new, origin cframe.position, comma, origin cframe.position plus direction. Pretty much the same thing that we did over here. Yeah. And our arrow dot parent will be equal to set that. Now we're going to create a body velocity. Refer to the Roblox wiki if you want a little bit more explanation of what that is. And we're going to set our max force to be equal to vector3 dot new 1e5, which is 1 power 5, I think. Or wait, no. Sorry, Google that. Comma 1e5, comma 1e5. Body vel plus velocity is equal to direction times speed. Body vel dot parent is going to be equal to our arrow. And now we're going to do arrow dot touch connect function because our arrow is going to be traveling and we actually want it to deal damage. And hit if not arrow, if the arrow somehow not, if something happened and the arrow was not initialized properly, then we won't do anything. We won't process our touched event. The arrow somehow died and touching that killed it. If shooter character and hit is descendant of shooter character, then return end, my bad, return end. So if we're trying to shoot ourselves, then we don't want to do that. That's dumb. So we're gonna return it and then we're gonna end it. And we're gonna set our humanoid to our hit.parent and hit.parent. Sorry, if there is a humanoid, we're gonna have to calculate that. Find first child, humanoid, and if not humanoid, and hit.parent and hit.parent.parent, then humanoid will be equal to our hit.parent. Humanoid will be equal to hit.parent.parent. Find first child humanoid don't know why I put it like that. It could have been covered a lot more easier. Um, yeah, sorry. If we have our humanoid, then our humanoid's gonna take damage by damage. Body velocity is gonna destroy, so it doesn't keep on going, and we're gonna debris. Oh yeah, we need debris. Sorry, my bad. Let's get debris. Did I? Yeah. Let's get debris, which will pretty much set an item to delete after a certain time. And I think we also need players somewhere, so let's get players. Gonna do if you move then body build destroy debris add not add tag add item arrow 0.3. So if nothing else happens, if it hits something, then the arrow will just murder itself, so that we can after 0.3 seconds. So it would be really cool if the arrow flew out of the first character's body and hit the second character, which is the sort of effect that we're kind of going for there. And let's say the body it goes through a trajectory, it hits the ground, and nothing happens. It hits the ground. It never fell into an enemy. We will just destroy our body velocity so it doesn't continue going. Then we will let the guy just chill there for 1 second. But to make that cool stuck in thing effect, what I want to do is do body is arrow dot can collide will be equal to true and arrow dot anchored will be equal to true. And our arrow just just in case it keeps on traveling for infinity, we don't want that to happen since that's dumb. Who would want that to happen? So we're gonna do debris add item arrow lifetime, which is 5 seconds. So if it keeps on traveling for 5 seconds and doesn't hit anything, it'll just suicide. Yeah. So let's hit play and let's test out our arrow. I mean our bow and arrow system. So we got our bow. We fire. We got an arrow that shoots. Um, it's a little bit difficult to see it, but look at that. We got our arrow that shot and then it killed our dummy. So we can now do that, and I can use shift lock to sort of position where these things were gonna go. That it will hit the ground. Why is it doing that? I think that my small idea did not work out. Sad face. Anyways, maybe in the future I do want to add a limited stock of arrows, but because we very much ran out of time right now, I can't. This video's long enough. Let's go into our bow. Let's move it into replicated storage. I mean, replicated storage. Yeah. Um, not replicated storage. MK twice. Server storage. Weapons. And yeah. And let's actually add a tag, and I'm gonna call it custom scripts. So that if we were to go on over to our crafting server, if you were to notice, it will do this. And if new weapon, if sorry, tag service has tag new weapon, comma, custom scripts, then we're just gonna delete these stuff that we're adding. So now that we got that, let's actually create a custom recipe for our weapon, for our bow. So let's go to bow. Wood, let's require 5 wood. Stone, let's require 2 stone. And iron. Oh, I think iron's one of them. Or 1 piece of iron. Yeah. So let's hit, first we should probably go into our main, and I'm gonna turn back on this. I turned it to false and we can set that to true. Um, I want to keep that like that. We're gonna give us actual time to collect resources. So let's do this. I'm excited. Are you guys excited? We're gonna go on over ourselves a little present. Let's go. Ooh, we got stone. We got stone. Um, you don't really have to worry about that weird error that we're keeping on getting. Ouch! 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 Stupid elf. I think we literally had enough stone. Dang it. Um, sorry. We're gonna need to get more stuff. Ouch. That was not very nice of you, package. Okay, so let's see. I think we have enough stone. We should probably get some. Whoa. Probably get some more wood. That's also a little thing we need to fix when you guys saw how it spawned twice. Boom. Let's grab our bow. I think we have enough. We got our bow. Now come over here. Yo, this bow is actually OP. This bow is so good. I'm destroying all these guys. Let's see if we can actually win our first game here. No more mobs, huh? I guess I'm the king of this town. Right. Kill this elf over here. Kill this robot trying to attack us. Let's see, anyone else? Want to try to show how cool they are? Oh, look, you got a robot that decided to spawn up there. Die, robot. And you, elf, also die, puny elf. Whoa! Elf sneak attack. This is actually pretty easy. So we probably want to nerf this, but I think we can actually deal multiple damage if we... Yeah, look at that. It shoots pretty rapid fire and also sometimes pretty slow. Oh god. It's actually gonna be our first time, I think, winning this game. 4, 3, 2, I, 0. Boom. Thought we killed everything, right? Oh, we got one more pesky zombie left. There we go. You got rid of it. Is there anything else? Any more monsters? Oh, we got a robot over there. Gotta kill the robot. Is that everyone? It's still got an elf. We got all these monsters that were literally useless, doing nothing. Is that everyone? Just gonna check really quickly. Ooh, I see what's going on. So basically, all these corpses are still here, and we just need to delete all these corpses. So we're gonna just quickly do gonna go on over to our mob scripts, main mob, um new monster dot destroying connect function task dot, actually we're gonna add debris. Local debris is equal to game get service debris. Sorry, I'm gonna wrap this up really quickly. This video should be way less shorter. This thing will actually let me type the right thing. Yeah, new monster, 2 seconds. After 2 seconds, he will just die. So we can sort of still have the satisfaction of getting this present. Stupid present takes so long for you to get. Come over here. Oh, shoot, we got an elf as our first guy. That is not very fun. I'm gonna craft a bow. Cool. Oh, we got a present that spawned right there. That's awesome. Bow, craft. I don't have enough. Oh, we need 2 iron. Gosh, that's annoying. Let's grab this present. Let's grab this present. This present over here. Bow. Craft. Wait, do I not have enough wood? Yeah, I don't have enough wood. This is intense gameplay right here. There we go. We got a bow. Now we gotta shoot these suckers. Where are they? Elf, get over here. Die. After 2 seconds, you'll notice his. They should despawn for 2 seconds. Oh, my bad, my bad, my bad, my bad, my bad. It isn't supposed to be that. Sorry. New monster dot humanoid dot died. And just to make this faster, we'll spawn us with a bow. And do a little bit of cheating here. Materials. Let's just give us like a ton of materials. Whoa. Oh. We gotta do Control Shift V and then the rest Control V. Okay, never mind. Wrong thing. Let's just give ourselves a bow. How about that? A bow. Delete. Bow. Paste in. So now let's hit play. Alright, come on, monsters. I don't wanna murder you guys. Yeah. 2, 1, 0. Got a robot as our first monster. Are you kidding me? And after 2 seconds, as you notice, okay. Yeah, after 2 seconds, as you notice, his body died. So yeah, that's gonna be it. Thank you guys very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Please leave a like, maybe subscribe if you haven't already. I'm gonna kill that elf. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Subscribe, or else you'll be shot in the head with this bow.